They're the only flower in the garden that will give me flowers off of the one bush for 9 months out of every 12. I haven't found any other flower or plant in the garden that'll do that. And I get plenty of flowers. I love them.
These days, Dean Stringer has scaled back his rose garden. Now he only has 250 bushes, down from 400. But that doesn't mean he's any less passionate about growing the perfect flower for show.
Oh, fanatic. If you're not a fanatic, you don't win. You come into this garden the week before a show and you'll find a whole heap of little calico hats over the top of flowers. Shade them. You don't let the sun get on them, it might bleach them. You don't let the insects settle on them. You've got to be mad to show them. But if you want to win, that's what you've got to do.
Clearly there's a fair competitive streak running through this 81-year-old. That's the reason the carpenter first began growing roses. He and his late wife were at a rose show where he was underwhelmed by what was on offer.
I just happened to say to her, God, I've got better roses than that home in the garden. And I wasn't aware of the fact that a very good rose grower was standing behind me. He made the challenge. He just said to me, well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and bring them and let's have a look at them. And I got a father of a hiding for a couple of years, but I was a determined little cuss.
So determined that over the years he's won 3 Australian championships, been awarded an Order of Australia for services to the industry, and this year became only the 3rd Australian ever to receive a medal from the World Federation of Rose Societies. The gong sits nicely alongside other awards Dean Stringer earned as a younger man, when his hobby didn't involve spraying and pruning, but running and punting. You've also won Best and Fairest at North Adelaide, a couple of premiership medals. How do they rank with your rose prizes?
They rank very, very highly, because I don't believe I ever had all that much ability. I worked purely on determination. If someone told me I couldn't do something, that's when I had to prove them wrong.
Dean Stringer played in an era when a match started only after all boots had been checked by the umpire. The drop kick and the flick pass were as common as the coat hanger, and lemon time meant getting a rub down from a trainer with a wet towel and a fag hanging out his mouth. The superstar of the day was West Torrens centreman Bob Hank.
Bob was always hard to stop. He was always a fit man. He had to be curbed, which I don't think anybody could really do consistently.
But in 1949, West Torrens had another match winner in Jack Broadstock, who'd transferred from West Adelaide, where he had been terrific on the field, but terrible off it.
Jack was an amazing clubman, really. He had a reputation, and he was a veteran gambler. That's what got him into trouble. And but when he came from Westies to our club, he didn't put a foot wrong.
Going into the 1949 Grand Final, West Torrens had the wood on North Adelaide, having beaten them 11 consecutive times. But there was an ominous start for the Eagles when their club doctor, who was a diabetic, passed out while giving Jack Broadstock a pre-match pain-killing injection.
He actually was over Jack and he collapsed on him, and the needle was broken in his leg. And we weren't there, but we found this afterwards. Of course, we went in and we were all ready to go, and we were out there about 10 minutes before Jack came out.
Bob Hank was Torrens' best player, but his side struggled in the hot conditions. The 30-plus degrees also took its toll on North Adelaide's best player, Darcy Cox, who at three-quarter time asked his coach Ken Farmer for a rest.
Well, I said, I'm buggered, Ken. He said, oh yes, you've done a very good game. He said, and I don't want to take you out of this game. He said, I'll put you on centre wing, give you a rest on the centre wing. You got to curb Gummy Edwards.
Be about the first bloke who's ever had a rest on the wing.
Yeah, I thought that.
Dean Stringer kicked 3 goals 5 at full forward, and when the siren went, that was the margin of victory for the young North Adelaide side. For Jack Broadstock, the defeat was particularly heavy.
Went to shake hands with Jack after, and I said, oh, good game, Jack. He said, yeah, it's all right, you, Darcy. He said, I just like 800 quid on it. So he had a lot more to lose than I did.
Immediately after the game, Bob Hank made his way through the red and white celebrations into the victorious North Adelaide rooms.
To go into the rooms was a done thing then, to congratulate the, your opponents and winners, and there was none of that business that they do now, belting into each other and carrying on like lunatics, and I can never quite understand that, because I used to be trying friendly with them. I reckon it's the best way you get them on your side.
And this week, 60 years to the day, that act of sportsmanship was reenacted as Bob Hank and 5 of his teammates joined the remaining members of the 1949 Premiership side for a reunion at Prospect Oval and the launch of a book of their feats.
As long as you look in the paper, your obituary's not there, then you know you're all right.
The 1949 Premiership side are forever young because of a short film shot by club enthusiast R.E.G. Madison, thought to be the oldest surviving footage of a South Australian grand final. 6 decades ago, Dean Stringer and his teammates celebrated their success with a dinner in the John Martin's dining hall. And since then, even as the memories fade, the friendships endure.
There wasn't any money in it. We played it because we liked doing it, and that's about it. But made lifetime friends out of a lot of people.